And we would like to thank Francesco Vago, because I really would like to thank you on behalf of so many journalists that are present here in this room. You've given us the titles for their articles tomorrow, because signing this agreement tells us that there are so many ships that are being built in this shipyard, this beautiful one, and many more to come. Monfalcone, the shipyard town, as it has always been called. And I would like to give the floor to Anna Maria Cisint, the mayor of Monfalcone, for institutional speech. Good morning, Mr. President, Mr. Minister, authorities, ladies and gentlemen. The town of Monfalcone welcomes you on such an important occasion, in a highly symbolic location, the shipyard, to celebrate a new productive success born from the commitment of this great group, Fincantieri, and MSC Cruises, and the skills and hard work of technicians and workers. Ever since the first steamer, named Trieste, built in Monfalcone, was launched on December 16, 1908, this shipyard has been upgraded many times, leading the way in its production of vessels. Today, it is one of the most important shipyards in the world for the construction of cruise liners, proper jewels of the sea, as is a beautiful MSC Seaside. Today, Monfalcone is one of the shipyards, Fincantieri, and it is one of the most important shipyards in Italy. And the company is promoting this technological and stylistic excellence strategy. A company that is on the stock exchange, a proper world player, already present in 20 countries, and have been able to expand and grow with more acquisitions. Today, the dimension for further development must be an international one, and it is important for our companies, to grow in this direction. This does not mean that we need to neglect or forget about our roots, value, and the relationship that this shipyard, but all shipyards, but especially the one that Monfalcone shipyard has with the territory. Italian shipbuilding industry and the Monfalcone shipyard represent a great heritage, an asset, technological and stylistic excellence that is unparalleled in the world. And these are a very important point of strength to distinguish the Made in Italy product. And that is why our country, our institutions have the responsibility of paying attention, being careful to protect and defend this heritage. Just a few days ago at the University of Udine, Mr. President, you insisted on the idea that, and I quote, our country must aim at looking to the future. For Monfalcone, although we can rely on other assets such as logistics and the port, to name a few, looking to the future necessarily entails looking to our shipyard. And we need to appreciate, therefore, the fact that Fincantieri can display the kind of competitive capacity that will guarantee orders, as we heard being said just previously, for several years to come. Recently released data on growth of Italian exports for the first 10 months of this year indicate that Italy is the 5th greatest exporter in the world after China, Germany, Korea and Japan. Great cruise liners built here in Monfalcone contribute to achieving this extraordinary result, where export accounts for over 80% of Fincantieri revenues. But if Italy wishes wishes to continue benefiting from this performance, however, it needs to invest in innovation, quality and training, but also in what I would like to call social sustainability. That is to say, a model that is careful about rights and duties. And as such, this model opposes all the different forms of dumping and social and environmental exploitation that underlines the success of so many other companies in the world. Being an international group while maintaining an Italian soul, this is the essential capital for our future. The development, driving towards new productive technologies and increasing productivity cannot and must not be incompatible, or worse still, conflicting with respecting the rights of workers and ensuring the safety and health of workers both inside and outside the company. I believe that this is what institutions are called upon to guarantee. The Monfalcone shipyard and the vessels and ships that are built here are undoubtedly an added value, a jewel in the crown of a company, Fincantieri, which manages to deal successfully with the very complex variety of processes that characterize international markets and the economy. And we want for Fincantieri in turn to be an added value for our local society and territory. Now, since the mayor is always the final point of arrival of the local community's daily needs and sentiments, and since the symbiosis here between the shipyard and the town is so strong, it is my duty as mayor to speak out for my community. We need to find a way so that the benefits that such a major productive activity generates locally are managed in the interest of the town and its inhabitants, as well as in the interest of the company itself, whose success and image are related precisely to those social sustainability factors that distinguish us worldwide. Now, albeit appreciating the positive results achieved by the shipyard, we must back the reasons that the community upholds in relation to work and sociality, so that unsolved issues may be settled in a collaborative manner, taking into account the local community's needs. Shipyard and town have lived together for over a century and must continue doing so, respecting those who work here and those who live here. I wish to conclude with words of praise for the shipyard workers. They are a major resource in building this beautiful MSC Seaside. Generation after generation of workers have spent a lifetime working the shipyard. Together with their families, they have witnessed and cheered the moment the grand ships built in our shipyard were floated off into the sea. Every one of them in that precise moment was surely thinking, we are the ones who built them. And this is the pride that inspires us. Many of them, and I quote, built the stars of the sea, were killed by the powder. This is inscribed on a monument not far from here. Our words of praise go to these workers too, so that commotion may turn into the desire to attain new goals. And that is why, Mr. President, I wish to thank you, because your presence here today to us is a sign of attention toward a community that is, yes, so proud of building some of the most beautiful and innovative ships in the world. But it is also a community that is fully engaged in the complexity of being part of a great industrial and productive hub. And as such, it must look to the future of its citizens and of its young generations. Thank you. Well, I believe that we can rightly say that today is a day of great pride for our country, but also for globally renowned groups. But it's also pride of territory, Friuli Venezia Giulia, which for decades now have been playing a major role in this sense. Deborah Serracchiani is the president of Friuli Venezia Giulia region, and I'd like to give her the floor. Good morning, Mr. President. Once again, welcome. And I really would like to welcome also Mr. Aponte, your beautiful family, Mr. Vago, all the authorities, and all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm greatly pleased to welcome you, Mr. President, once more on behalf of the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region. There have been many occasions now in which we have been able to acknowledge that you are truly attentive and involved connoisseur of our complex history and of our genuine peoples. We are honored and gratified by your presence, which confirms that what we feel is a bond between our region and the institutional heart of our country. Your visit here today allows you to encounter a noble and proud part of Friuli-Venezia Giulia, the part that draws from the sea its calling to entrepreneurship and its dedication to work. About 110 years ago, the Kozulich brothers, originally from Lusigny, set up a new and grand shipyard, modernly equipped in Monfalcone, not far from the Sudbahn or the state railway lines, as I quoted from the chronicles of the period. It was the result of the implementation of a law passed by the Austro-Hungarian Empire, whereby, and I quote, funds were allocated to improve the merchant navy and promote the building of ships, unquote. The shipbuilding industry in an Eastern Adriatic began as a well-organized strategic activity for the state, therefore. And since then, after experiencing the terrible events of the past century, which left profound scars along the eastern border, the Monfalcone shipyard has been much more than a simple factory. It has shaped and enlivened the territory. It trained generations of workers, molding the inhabitants' habits and perceptions. History literally passed through this place. The 503 shipyard workers who died between 1943 and 1945 during the struggles for liberation, and whom we honor today, are an example of the conscience devoted to the working class and union struggles waged to support the resistance and conquer their freedom. Now, of course, as always is the case with great things, living next to the shipyard has not always been easy. And yet no one doubts the great benefit that a productive site of this kind can ensure regional level in terms of income. And I can now announce that yesterday, for the very first time, the shipyard in Fincantieri received authorization of environmental impact. So the entire shipyard has undergone a study of environmental impact, and the authorization has been granted. And I want to say this especially to MSC. Yes, of course, a lot still has to be done, and there's a lot of work to be done, but I want to say to MSC Group, this further qualifies the quality and professionalism of the work done in this shipyard. As I was saying, no one doubts about the great benefits that a productive site of this kind can ensure at regional level in terms of income. Income that is reinvested in the regional R&D network, for which ours is one of the leading European regions when it comes to innovation capacity. This year, for the first time, together with the Ministry of Universities and Research and with the Ministry of Economic Development, we will be strengthening and improving coordination between our scientific centers and universities. We aim at starting off practical projects, and we are focusing on transferring the outcome of research projects directly to the industry. The region attaches great importance to the entire blue economy sector, where the shipbuilding industry is one of the historical specializations of our manufacturing industry. Our Sea District has an international scope as it's part of the EU strategy for the Adriatic Ionian macro region, of which Italy is a member, and Friuli-Venezia Giulia is a main pillar, especially with regard to the transport and logistics sectors. We firmly believe, therefore, that today we are actually celebrating in the right place the successful marriage between two global actors who complement each other and who express the best of Western technology, creativity and competitiveness. This moment is even more meaningful because it celebrates the not necessarily predictable outcome of willpower and intelligence. In fact, only a few months ago, the predictable scenario was one where Europe was once again divided internally, one of countries closing their economies within old boundaries. And instead, I must acknowledge with great satisfaction that Europe has won the simple yet often historically defeated notion that together we are stronger and more competitive. initiative has won. The merit certainly goes to Giuseppe Bono's famous determination in leading Fincantieri, but it also goes to the leaderships of both the Italian and French governments, who dialogued without losing sight of their common interests. We are facing a virtuous example, a solid brick being laid down as part of the foundations of a bigger, larger construction. Often, economy has opened the way for politics, as when the European Coal and Steel Community was established, the very first embryo of the EU. This is the reason why I value so much the fact that a few days ago a concrete step was made toward a common European defense system. Our continent is called upon to deal with increasingly difficult challenges in a scenario of instability risks. The fact that, as President Juncker said, the sleeping beauty has awakened is obviously one of the effects of the Brexit, but I prefer to believe that it is rather the awakening of a sleeping European conscience. In this new afternoon light, the strategic alliance between Fincantieri and STX acquires greater value that finds a fundamental implementation point in the defense sector. If it is true that where goods cannot pass, armies can, well then an effective European defense capacity has the task of ensuring that goods continue to pass, and with them also people and ideas. These are goods and people who travel also on MSC ships, whose leaders I'm really pleased to greet. During the coin ceremony held last April, next to the two coins, also a major commitment was sealed and welded, one that was honored through joint work and shared perspectives. MSC knows that this region adopts that same constructive approach also when it looks to the future. Ours is a region where nature has been so generous as to provide us with the deep waters that large ships require, and we have added to this our determination to create the most advantageous economic and logistics conditions to attract traffic and enterprises. And so I really would like to thank Minister Di Rio, without whom the reform of the port governance and the intensive activity that you've done for Monfalcone and Trieste, without this today we wouldn't be here to remember how important all of this is for our economy. So, today is in Monfalcone and tomorrow in Trieste, a short stretch of the same coast for two different callings. Here you have found evidence of the excellence of designers, technicians and workers. Docked in front of Piazza Unità d'Italia in Trieste, I do hope you will see new opportunities being opened up. My heartfelt congratulations to all those who were involved in this amazing adventure called Seaside, and of course, in particular to all workers of Fincantieri, but also of MSC workers, to whom I wish safe voyages, and I hope we'll be able to meet again for the next ship. Allow me to greet with renewed gratitude our head of state, who always encourages us with his strong and gentle and kind humanity, and under whose good auspices this ship is ready to set sail. Thank you, Mr. President. Well, today is really a remarkably significant day. I'm running out of adjectives, and allow me to add that today is a day for celebration. I'll see what adjectives the representative of the government that has been mentioned so often will use. So I really would like to greet the Minister for Transport and Infrastructure, Mr. Di Rio, to hold the floor. Mr. President, Madam Mayor, Madam President Serracchiani, thank you for inviting me here today on a special occasion. I'm honored to represent the government in the presence of the President of the Republic, and I'm really honored to be here together with two great entrepreneurs, Mr. Aponte and Mr. Bono. Over the past years, we've met quite often. Today we're here to celebrate the sealing, the common work we've done together. Geography is our destiny. See this family. MSC video showed us that this family has chosen the sea, and our destiny is in the sea. That's our future. Today many have spoken about the fact that we must use the sea as a resource, and today, handing over the seaside, we are witnessing the value, concrete value of the sea. Numbers have already been mentioned by Mr. Vago and all of those who took the floor before and after him. And today is a very important moment for our national shipbuilding industry, and therefore we are pleased to see that one of the most important ship owners of the world has decided to continue believing in Italy, aiming and waging on Italy. When Mr. Ponte came to see me after I became minister, I had been appointed minister, I asked him for suggestions as to how to make our Italian sea system more competitive, and he immediately said, I believe in Italy, so put us in the condition to be able to work more with Italy and therefore to favor and promote jobs, the creation of jobs in Italy. So this worry about creating jobs is exactly the same thing that I heard from Giuseppe Bono when I was Undersecretary I was Undersecretary of State at that time, and almost on a weekly basis Mr. Bono would call me and repeat over and over again the same thing: create jobs. And here you see the passion of these two businessmen for work, for the people, men and women who work in our country, who serve our country, producing wealth and well-being for their families, for all families. Fincantieri today is an international player, something we're twice proud about, and therefore, and for the partners and banks who have always believed in Fincantieri, in the fact that we could turn Fincantieri from an issue to a resource. And we must say that now this process has proven to be successful. Fincantieri is a major international company. You've had the figures. It is growing worldwide. It values its workers. It values historic roots, but also advanced technology. So the strategic partnership between MSC and Fincantieri therefore offers our country an extraordinary added value. So allow me to say that today is a day of Italian pride. Today we all feel more proud about being Italians, not only because this ship is a beautiful product of Italian geniuses and creativity, but because today we are showcasing to the entire world something that is very simple. In practical terms, Italy can do it. Italy can win over the great international competition challenges. Italy can stand next side to side to other great companies, world companies. It is proud of its men and women, its entrepreneurs, its business people, its institutions. They all collaborate to taking on these global challenges. This sea economy has an international scope. It is extremely important for our country, and that is why we decided to approve and draw up a reform that will make us more competitive, drawing inspiration from our European competitors, but also maintaining the peculiarity of Italy's beauty, trying to invest in the creation of more beautiful waterfronts, trying to maintain that strong bond between the port and the local territory, because the ports are important, but the territory is equally important. The ports give energy to the hinterland, and that is why strengthening this reform meant making a stronger reform, coordinating investments at national level. Today you are here, guests of the Monfalcone and Trieste port system, which is one of the most important port systems in Italy, highly competitive and competing with all the major European ports, and it has great plans of investment. It has capability also of adopting and implementing a development model that is extremely sustainable, because this is one of the ports that has invested more than any other port in its railway system. Here goods travel directly from the ship to the train, and this is an indication of modernity, of efficiency, Just recently, we were celebrating the improvement of logistics indexes in Italy, a turnover of about 4 billion euros, but there's a lot more that needs to be done. Our companies are still lagging behind if compared to other companies in the world, and we must invest more in logistics because this will mean more competitiveness for our companies. The government has been busy with the reform, reorganizing the ports, coordinating the investment, but has also been busy in a massive financing operation to renew our ferry boat fleet, offering public transportation service in our seas, and therefore there's this enormous commitment and engagement at institutional level nationwide. So I would invite Fincantieri, Mr. Bourne and all his collaborators to be involved in the next bid and tender that we will launch for the ferry service, and this will create new jobs at Castellammare and other parts of the country. The country is bound to grow well only if it will grow united, if there will be no difference in opportunities and job opportunities in the different parts of the country. And so much for these investments in sustainability. This city, this town is so proud of its shipyard, and it must serve as an example for so many other towns which from the sea can gain unprecedented resources. Lastly, allow me to refer and mention with enormous gratitude to all those who have done the job. I went to visit the cathedral in Milan, and I visited personally the workers of that cathedral who built and restructured, renovated that cathedral. When we look at these great cathedrals, when we look at these amazing constructions that are a result of the Italian engineering, Italian Renaissance, we focus on beautiful part of that, and we forget about those who on a daily basis made such beautiful objects possible. They are there up hundreds of meters high. They are working in the dark, and they are the real secret of Italian success. It's a secret of knowledge that starts from the bottom, of the work done by these people who nobody knows about, and this our most profound gratitude as representative of the government wants to goes to these, precisely to these people. Thank you. Well, so now this brings us to the very last important moment of this ceremony. The ceremonial bottle containing the first seawater that touched the hull of MSC Seaside when she was launched will now be handed over. Now, for this ceremony, I would like to invite you to join me here on the stage, the shipyard director, Roberto Olivari, and MSC Seaside's captain, Pierpaolo Scala. Good day. Thank you for being here today to share this significant moment with us. As I was saying, it's a very special moment. Handing this bottle, ceremonial bottle, in the presence of the President of the Italian Republic gives me enormous reason for great pride, and together with, on behalf of whom I thank on behalf of MSC Cruises and the Appunti family. This will be an unforgettable moment of my career, and I hope I won't let you down. I also wanted to thank all those who were involved in the construction of this amazingly grand and beautiful ship. I also would like to thank my crew, the technical office of MSC, all the workers and all the colleagues from MSC Cruises. Thank you. I too have some people to thank. First and foremost, all my workers, supervisors, managers who with dedication, passion, collaborative spirit have contributed to the construction of this boat. To all of those who support the production side, the backstage people, all of those who make sure that we are safe and secure. In particular, I would like to thank people from the main offices in Trieste, planning and purchasing department, who have always supported us in our job and have always provided us with everything we needed. But two special thanks go to our PMT, project management team. They're always next to our side, always supporting the shipyard. And also I would like to thank MSC Site Management and all their collaborators. We have worked side by side so many hours, and thanks to you we have been able to achieve some really exceptional results in terms of performance and quality of this ship. Well, Captain, what can I say? We've come to an end of the story, and on behalf of Fincantieri people, I'm really proud to hand this jewel over to you, and I really wish you and your ship fair winds.
Salutiamo il Presidente della Repubblica che lascia il teatro.
Would like to once again say goodbye to our President of the Italian Republic as he leaves the theater. We thank him once more for participating in this ceremony. Please remain seated because the show, of course, goes on with the MSC Seaside cast. So please remain seated. Just one last recommendation, after thanking you with the great attention you've paid to this ceremony. When the very short time that you have to be with us here on board the ship, please do take a tour of the ship. She is a proper jewel. In the afternoon, she will be docked in Piazza Unità d'Italia in Trieste. Well, she will stay for a couple of days, and she will really be an amazing spectacle as she will be docked in front of the most beautiful square in the world. But the show must go on. Fabio Gatti, will you join me? Yours is the most amazing job in the world. You are in charge of managing all the shows in this beautiful ship, and you will be here for the whole of December doing this job, and God knows where you go next. Some other cruise in some beautiful place, I'm sure. But thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention.